Welcome to the BDGG Guide to Mythic Artificer Xy'mox, presented by Wowhead. This boss can be faced either 4th or 5th within Castle Nathria. The main difference from Heroic is that the mechanics caused by Sire Denathrius' relics will persist through each phase. These mechanics include Fleeting Spirits in Phase 1, Root of Extinction in Phase 2, and Edge of Annihilation in Phase 3. Additionally, if a Fleeting Spirit catches you in Mythic, you won't break free from the mind control, and instead will have to be killed. Having to deal with multiple of these mechanics overlapping is what makes this fight more difficult. It will require outstanding personal responsibility for your raid members to identify dangerous overlaps and counter them with their class's toolkit. For your raid comp, you should probably stick to 2 tanks, 4 healers, and a mix of melee and ranged DPS. There are no strict damage checks, however ranged DPS tend to have a better time on this encounter, and highly mobile classes are especially valuable. This fight only has 2 main positions. We start the fight by pulling the boss to the center of the room and have raid markers placed throughout the room. We have a moon marker on the east side of the room and a skull marker on the west side of the room. These will be where each dimensional tear will be placed. Just before the boss hits 75% and the first set of Seeds of Extinction spawn, we pull the boss near the moon marker, and we use that alcove for the remainder of the fight. The rest of the raid markers is where each Seed of Extinction spawns, and we assign who moves the seed based on those markers. Phase 1 will last until 75%, and is generally considered the easiest of the 3. This is the phase where your raid gets introduced to the mythic version of Fleeting Spirits, which will permanently possess targets when coming in contact with them, requiring you to kill your ally. Your raid should also see 2 sets of stasis traps in this phase, which should be cleared by classes with magic immunities. A rotation of Death Knights and Rogues can be used to clear these traps throughout the fight, while Warriors and other classes can help pick up straggler stasis traps that your assigned Spark Soakers were unable to get. When the boss reaches 75%, Phase 2 begins, and the boss should be moved towards the edge of the room near the moon marker. Seeds of Extinctions are first, and you can either run Warlock Portal or use the Dimensional Tear to bring this first set to the west side of the room. We highly recommend placing a Warlock Gate from near the boss position towards the far side of the room for players to take advantage of when targeted by Dimensional Tear. This part of the encounter is all about surviving ability overlaps that happen at inconvenient times, such as the first set of Fleeting Spirits, which happens to time out just after the first set of Seeds of Extinctions explode. The best strategy for avoiding Fleeting Spirits is to recognize what order the boss's abilities happen in. On certain sets, players will have time to run to the Dimensional Tear near the raid, and wait on the other side of the room until their Fleeting Spirit is close to timing out and teleport back. Other times, players will be required to take the Dimensional Tear as fast as possible, wait for a few seconds, and enter the tear again just before the seeds explode. A weak or a bar for showing when seeds explodes can be very helpful here, so that players take the Dimensional Tear at the right moments. We found that baiting Fleeting Spirits slightly away from the portal near the raid allowed players to more reliably pull off the close timing maneuvers. Withering Touch will also require significantly more healing than its heroic counterpart, so players should take care not to take additional damage while this dot is on them. The players who run Seed should have a personal cooldown while they move outside of healer range to drop the seed off. Annihilation should be handled the same as Heroic, with different speed boosts, portals, grips, and charges being key to avoid the final seconds of it. Phase 2 will also be where Seeds of Extinctions will start causing issues, and players must be assigned to each seed to carry them away from the raid, and stack them near each other on the far side of the room. Classes best suited for this job are Mages and Warlocks, however high mobility melee classes can also take on these assignments. You'll see that this set of Phase 2 seeds happens during Annihilation, so the assignments here should be classes that are capable of teleporting to safety once they drop off their seeds. At 50%, the third and final phase begins. You will also have to deal with Edge of Annihilation every 75 seconds. This naturally means that in Phase 3 you will have certain overlaps where players will need to deal with being sucked in by Edge of Annihilation while being chased by Fleeting Spirits, and, if assigned, having to also carry Seeds of Extinction. While some of these can be quite brutal to deal with, if most of your raid survives, it's typically followed by lenient timings and calm periods that allow your raid to focus on boss DPS. You'll see this set of Fleeting Spirits start during an Annihilation. They travel about 1.5 times the width of the room, so running towards the far portal and taking it when ghosts are more than halfway across the room will mean you're on the safe side with the raid before they despawn. Seeds of Extinction spawn midway through this as well, which means players should pick up seeds and take the near side dimensional tear just before Annihilation finishes, then take it back as soon as they can. This is the kind of fight you'll want to continually watch your boss timers on, and improving your personal reactions, calls for fills, and avoiding extra damage will help prevent the domino effect raid-wide. Since the DPS check of this fight is incredibly low, it's likely that your first kill happens with multiple people dead, as there is only one more bad combination before the fight ends if your DPS is on track. The last bad combination is the Annihilation, leading into Spirits that happen during Seeds of Extinction, followed by a tank glyph of Destruction. If you get through this with more than 14 or so players alive, you'll likely kill the boss. I'll let the remainder of the fight play out with audio, but if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. Be sure to subscribe and like the video to be notified of the rest of our Castle Nathria guides. Good luck.
We have 5-6 stat players.
That's really
the
good.
boss is on 12%. They can still get this done. They don't have any more battle rests, but
All
they can
healers
use
are
the
still
boss
up.
here.
All
Yeah,
healers up so
they
they
can
can
use the
take
boss.
care of the raid damage as well.
So we get a second, a last set of portals. It looks like they're positioning the portals to make sure that they get the last sets of overlaps done, if they get any. We'll see what happens here as the boss is dropping lower and lower, and they're not getting any more mechanics. It looks like there's some blasts happening now, some beams that they need to dodge, but it looks like this might be it as the boss
yeah.
is just dropping.
Next cliff of destruction. This is the
It
big
is
tank
dropping
AoE they need to run
indeed.
away.
Hitting 5% here as well, and we still have a full healing team alive, keeping the raid damage in check. This is...
So we get a
I think this
fixate
might
here, we
be
get
it.
some ghosts,
We got
but
some
the ghosts
ghosts,
should
but
not
no
be preventing
overlap.
them from killing the boss here.
No.
Unleash powers coming in. This is gonna be possibly the next. Oh, actually, no, that's the tank debuff. Oh, need to
Yeah,
make sure
tank
they
debuff.
run away the
Seeds?
seeds. At this point, you can just sacrifice.
They got them, they got them out, the
Let's
seeds are
hear
out.
them.
They got it, they got
left
it!
on Artificer now.
Yeah, let's hear them.
That's what I mean, dude. That last
Just
set, that,
limp through.
nothing
most
that third set,
scuffed
just
school of my
nothing
life.
happened.
Are you talented into
I'm
that?
battling hyper. What?
Max, were you talented into piercing how? I actually
Piercing Howl's not a talent.
not.
Dorcas?
No.
Oh my god, dude, that
Wait,
fucked me so hard, man.
Was that the pull I said not to use armor wounds because we aren't close?
Yeah.